Next on our panel is Mr. Nirupam-Smarter. Mr. Nirupam-Smarter is B.Tech in Electronics and Communications and is MBA from Indian School of Business. Mr. Srivastava works with IBM's Global Strategy and Transformation Consulting team as Managing Consultant, leading teams to advise IBM's clients globally in areas of business strategy, innovation and growth. Mr. Nirupam leads the sustainability and green consulting offerings at IBM. As one of the engagements, he recently worked with the governments of European countries to develop the strategy and implementation plan for enterprise information management system. Mr. Nirupam has extensive experience in business strategy as he was head of strategy and alliances for Schneider Electric and SL Group prior to IBM. He has deep experience in developing and executing strategy for Indian and foreign multinational companies. He has led and closed 9 acquisitions, including 6 cross-border acquisitions as part of growth strategy in diverse set of geographies. He started the renewable business for Schneider Electric in India and marketed the industry-specific solutions. I would now request Anumol Rajan to present a bouquet to Mr. Srivastava. Thank you, Anumol.
As well. So what I will talk about is on the smarter government and the e-governance part of that. So let me ask by a polling question. So how many of us, by raise of hand, do have a driving license? Nearly all of us have. How many have a PAN card or a voter ID? Sure. So, and how many have us filed income tax statements online? Okay, still there are a couple of people. So a lot of people are now filing income tax returns online. So that shows in a way how the government is touching us. In the morning, Shastri talked about his example of the London tube, how he could know which part of tube is functioning and not functioning and what time to reach out there. And sure, a lot of those applications are coming to India and we are all impacted by it. And India being the IT powerhouse, that also holds a lot of promise for each of us to develop those applications. Now, before I go into detail, let me ask a more direct question. Why do we need to really bother about a smart government? What is in it for us as, say, IT community or MCA professionals who are sitting out there? So let me ask, what do you think in the next 3 or 4 years, IT investment from government in terms of the different industries, let's say telecom, banking, government, blah, blah, blah. So all those, where would the government stand in terms of the top 3 investors, bottom 3 investors, or somewhere in the middle? Within the top 3 investors. And
most investor, rather, I'd say.
So it is there. So it is one of the biggest investors you can look at, and so that's where the employment opportunities will come.
I would like to add, the normal budget for IT is 3% of total budget of government.
So there's a lot of opportunity in terms of the employment and the work that probably you all would be doing as part of developing the smarter governance practices and smarter governments around the world and including India. So let me start with saying that the world today is connected economically, socially, and technically. And maybe I use the word is flat as by Thomas Friedman. So world is flat and world is connected. We know all economically we have the effect of the downturn recession that we had in India. Socially, a lot of things happen on the social web, Facebook, media, and all those things. We are working together around the world through that social media, and technically, of course, through the interplay of all the communication technologies that we have today. There is a definition below from Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. They produce a lot of fantastic definitions. I use them. So this is here: effective public governance helps to strengthen democracy and human rights. They talk about promoting economic prosperity, social cohesion, reduce poverty. I will not read, probably you guys read it and you can search on the web also for that. They develop some fantastic and very clear and simple definitions on what happens when you have a good governance, and there are a lot of resources out there. I will wait for a minute and then I will move on to the next slide. So yeah, we all probably understand the value and the benefits of good governance, but let's take a step back, and from a government perspective, if I am in the government, what are the challenges I face today? IBM conducted a study on the various issues that the government leaders, public sector leaders face, and what would be a government of 2020 would be. In fact, that study is available on IBM website and you guys can download it. So what we identified is that there are 6 major challenges that all the governments face today and are going to increase in complexity going forward. The first one is accelerating globalization. So effectively we know what is the political and economic dependence on it. Even though Obama may say, do not outsource, tomorrow he has to come to India, the next one is coming here. So why he's coming here? He sees the value, he needs help from India and China to stabilize his currency. So he cannot ignore that, okay, I don't outsource just along with that line. So it's interconnected. So governments around the world, same way India depends on US for a lot of things. So it's interconnected, you can't ignore each other. Evolving societal relationships. So we see that a lot of citizens, as we know, we want services directly from the government in a private fashion. We want, if I have to file income tax return, let me do it directly. I don't really need to go through an office of government. So it's direct connectivity that we're looking at. Expanding impact of technology. So again, coming back to the impact of internet. So we discussed about the mobile phones and ability to have the up-to-date information from the government on our mobile phones. Last week, I received 2 SMSs from Income Tax Department saying, yeah, so they gave 26,000 users have already checked their income tax deduction, the Form 2AS, which is available online. So how much of your employer is deducting and paying the tax is available online. So you should always go and check out whether your tax is deducted, because tomorrow that is the only measure they are going to measure how much tax you have paid. There will be no Form 16, there will be no other forms. Only measure is how much their system says how much tax your employer has paid on behalf of you. Changing demographics. This is very interesting, and you know, we have a lot of young people like we all are here, and we have other countries like in Europe and in US where there is aging population. For last 15 days, there has been oil and gas blockade in France. The reason? The France government said now people are not going to retire at 60, but they are going to retire at 62. And why it's so? Because the pension plans that they have right now cannot afford people retiring at 60. So this is the impact of changing demographics. And all the unions are up in strike for 15 days. They had a very less petrol and all this gasoline because they blockaded all those refineries. So changing demographics, the government needs to manage that issue as well. So people are going to, so we have a different problem here. We need employment. So we have a lot of young people coming in, and of course we need employment. So that's another challenge that we need to take care of, and the governments need to take care of. Environmental concerns, we have our minister, Jayavan Reddy, talking about a lot of things about environmental, and it's not that something we can now ignore for future. We know that global warming is taking place, there are extreme environmental impacts. Even those countries who used to think like Russia, that they are really isolated, they have like wildfires and heavy extreme weather, so they understand now it's impacting them. And governments are changing and making policies, and you will see a lot more environmental restrictions coming in. And that's where also some of the places IT can play a big role. IBM and all companies are doing a lot of things, how to make it more sustainable and make it more economic, ecological friendly. Growing threats from social stability and order. So I gave an example of France, but let me give another example. Today's newspaper says that Europe is facing a 2611 type of a threat because the terrorists want to free one of their friend who is in some custody somewhere. So they are expecting a 2611 kind of terror threat in Europe. Now, it's not just one single threat which one agency can manage. It requires a lot of coordination between different agencies of the government, which could include like you had Headley coming in and the government didn't know it. So you need customs and immigration kind of control. You need your law enforcement agencies of police and securities and commandos control. You need your traffic management systems in control. All these agencies need to coordinate so that you can have a very good management of such kind of situations. So these are the 6 elements which the governments tomorrow will, and today also, will need to really look into hard and need to develop some solutions for these kind of problems and challenges. And that's where one of the opportunities lies for each of you to think, okay, how can you do work on the globalization part or the demographics part or any of these parts, and what applications can go into that. Now, so what are the 4 trends we are looking at in terms of the government? So I'm talking about it's all behind me. So improve citizen and business services. That's what the first of the trend we are seeing. The people want better services. I want better services. I don't want income tax side to crash when I'm filing my return. I want, if I need to apply for a license, I can do it online. If I need to pay a traffic challan, I can do it online. I don't really need to go to some office of the government and try to do that. So all those things are improving, and it's not just citizen but also business services. MC21, in fact, in India is a very shining example of how government can provide a lot of good business services. So if you need to file your company annual report, you can do it online. You don't really need to go to the office and have a long queue out there. Manage resources effectively. So government always have a limited set of resources, and a lot of actually leakages we all know. Commonwealth and all those things, examples are there very often. So you don't really know how much was the budget and how much they really spend it out on that. So a lot of things are required here in managing resources effectively. So all the business analytics and all those cost elements need to be very carefully considered, and you need to have a control mechanism. So those are the areas also where we will see a lot of opportunity in that. Ensuring sustainable environment. So energy efficiency. India is a perennial energy hungry country. Whatever our 5-year plans say, we always fall short of it, and actually we need to make our energy 3 times in the coming 5-year plan to meet what our requirements are. So these are, again, energy is a good area where a lot of government opportunities will come in terms of energy efficiency and sustainability. And strengthen national security and public safety. I just explained that part, so I will go into detail on that. So what are we saying coming the concept from a smarter planet to the smarter government? So what we are saying is the 3I concept: instrumented, interconnected, and intelligent. So instrumented is because you need to have the data collection points. We had the Jama Masjid attack before the Commonwealth, and the camera, the CCTV at gate 3 was not working. So there is no photo, so there was no instrument. It was not working or is as good as not there. So you don't have an instrumentation point of view to get the picture of the guy who is doing it. So that's where a part of sensors that enable management of anything, which could be energy use, which could be a security situation. You need to have all those sensors and data entry points there. You need to be interconnected, so they need to be reporting into some system through a connection, which again requires a whole lot of media and communication technologies. Leverage that, and intelligent in terms of doing analytics onto that, understanding what is happening where and how you can evaluate the next response to what could happen. So these are the 3 I's. I will not go into detail for the time, but a lot of things is also available online, and I am thereafter available to discuss that offline. So again, coming on those 4 levers that we say, the trends that are there. So improving citizen business services, what we are doing is outcomes-based social services. It's not, I have so much money and let me distribute. That's traditional way of doing government. Okay, I have so much money, let me give it to the poor, No, we are not looking at that. We are looking at outcome-based. Are people healthy is an outcome. Distributing food for free is not an outcome. So again, outcome-based social services in terms of citizen-centric. What happens is normally we give a poor person all the benefits, and those who are in the system, and those who are out of it cannot get anything out of it. So it also leads to sometimes fraud, and sometimes duplication of the same resources being applied. So all those things that we are looking at in terms of identity management, we have a couple of applications that government is doing that in the UID program. So all those elements come in there. Sustainability, environment in the transport and the water management, energy management. The security part, which in terms of the customs, modernization, immigration, identity management, public safety solutions, and in terms of the resource management of the treasuries, the state treasuries, all those things are getting automated. In fact, state treasury is also a big opportunity if some of you guys want to take a look at that opportunity on that side. So here, the first part was mainly on what are the challenges and opportunities for you.